everyone. Hello there, Internet. Mogwai here, and I got another video for you guys today. Today we're going back to Grixis Control, which is the first deck that I featured on my channel when I made my return to MTG Arena. But we're going to have a bit of a twist for it today, as we are going to be running a new win condition, which was available to us through the Ravnica Allegiance set, and that is Captive Audience. The deck list is Ermahgerd, and what I like to call the archetype Ermahgerd Control. And it is, like I said, a Grixis control list, but we aim to win with this card right here. Captive Audience is a Rakdos 7-mana enchantment that says the following. Captive Audience enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. So we give this to our opponent. And then, at the beginning of their upkeep, they have to choose one of these three following effects. Either their life total becomes 4, they discard their entire hand, or each opponent creates a 5/2/2 black zombie creature token. Once they choose one of these three options, it's eliminated, and they have to choose one of the other two. So they can't always choose, their life total becomes 4 again and again, right? Like, they have to pick their poison every time, and they can't pick the same fate 2 turns in a row, or 3 turns in a row, basically. They can't choose the same one. So that makes this a card that can pretty much win the game on its own, which is something that the likes of Grixis Control has lacked in the past. A solid win condition. Like, we have Nicol Bolas, right? But a way to put an end to the match, and that is what Captive Audience does for us. I'm also excited to play Captive Audience because, in a way, it's a good counter to Turbo Fog, aka Nexus of Fate, because if they play Nexus of Fate, they still have to, every time they start a new turn, this still procs. So eventually, they'll have to discard their entire hand, meaning that they can continue to go infinite, right? As they will, discard their hand and run out of options. Though, obviously, scenarios can be, different, right? Like, they could have Teferi on the board already, and Ascanta, which means that they could search for more cards and potentially find another one. It's never a sure win against, everybody's favorite deck right now in the metagame, but it is a funny answer to it, and quite legitimately a good one at that. So we have one copy of Banefire on top of that to potentially finish off our opponent after their life total becomes 4. And the rest of the deck is pretty standard Grixis Control. I'm a big fan of this archetype. It's one of my favorites to play because I love Thought Erasure. I love Disinformation Campaign. I just love discard mechanics alongside, counter spells, right? I am somewhat of a blue degenerate. And we have early game removal with Fungal Infection, the Cry of the Carnarium, another new card from Ravnica Allegiance, a better version of Golden Demise that exiles creatures, which is very important because it enables you to bypass stuff like Hunted Witness, Death Wish, and Afterlife effects in general. And also, if you double up on it, you can also get rid of Rekindling Phoenix as well, amongst other things, right? It's just a better version of Golden Demise, and really puts in the work, especially because a lot of people are playing some, swarmy tactics right now. Very solid against Boros, Weenies, and just a really good meta card as of right now. And definitely, like I said, a better version of Golden Demise. We have counter spells with 4 Sinister Sabotage and 2 Negates, 2 Search for Ascantas. We got 4 Chemist's Insight. Like I said, very standard stuff. But our late game is where things become spicy, and we aim to win the game with Nicol Bolas in conjunction with Captive Audience. So without further ado, I'm going to hop onto the Mythic Ranked ladder, and hopefully we can get some wins with Captive Audience. I've already won quite a few games with this card testing out this deck, so it definitely does win games, and it's one of the coolest ways to win, actually. So let's hop onto some matches, and let's test this bad boy in action. Shoji Teramoto. Let's do this. I just want to win with Captive Audience. That is the main objective here, as we have I'm going to keep this hand, even though we are lacking a second source of blue mana to enable our Sinister Sabotage, but we have a decent curve going on, and because we're a control deck, the most important thing, really, is being able to curve out and not running out of, lands, so that we can get our card draw, spells going on, and all that goodness. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to keep this, and we're going to see if we can draw into a source of blue mana to enable this Sinister Sabotage. Meanwhile, we're going to lead off with the Watery Gate tapped, because we have no turn 1 play, obviously, and we want that double land on there as early as possible. There is an island, and there is a second source of blue mana, because I'm just that good at the game. When I ask something, my deck loves me so much that they will always oblige. Is this Mono Blue Tempo? This could be Mono Blue Tempo here. I believe this is Mono Blue Tempo, indeed. Alright, we're going to drop a Swamp here. And we have our counter spell available. We're gonna preserve our counter spell for mainly for the Curious Obsession. Okay, my game is lagging a little bit, so I may have to reboot after this. All right, because it feels, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I feel a bit of lag going on. Maybe I'm just paranoid. maybe I just think it. It's not lagging now. It's chopping a little bit. All right, we're gonna go for Chemist's Insight at the end of his turn. Definitely lagging. Definitely lagging. All right. So we could go for the Eldest Reborn, but we're probably gonna get countered. So we want to be able to counter their counter. So we're gonna have to be a little bit patient here. So we're going to we're going to play. We don't want to take any extra damage, so we're just gonna have to go with the Search for Scantha here. No, yeah, because we have Negate enabled. Bait out some counter spells if they have them. Like, we're fine with him countering this. Yeah, we're completely fine with that. We're not gonna negate that. We want to preserve Negate for other things. But I wanted to bait out his counter spells, basically. That's you know, very reliable source there. We're gonna go for the Negate now. Denied! That's what we want to deny. That is the most important thing to counter right there. And it seems like he has no counter spell, which means, because he wasn't able to counter this, which means that we're gonna be able to Eldest Reborn here. Which is what we're gonna do. Yeah, it's definitely, oh my god, the lag is real, holy shit. I'm definitely gonna reboot this right after the, right after this game. That's crazy, Jesus, why is it lagging like this? Alright, there's Jin. Okay, now we get to, force him to discard a card there. And we want to, okay, so we have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6. If he has a counter spell there, I think we can wait one turn. There. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so my idea is that I want to have 8 mana so I can play Eldest Reborn and potentially counter their counter spell. Because I was not paying attention and didn't notice if they drew either the land or the Jin. So I want to make sure that, like I said, I can counter a potential counter spell here, and I can play another Eldest Reborn. We're taking another hit here, but we can stabilize soon. Alright, so at the end of his turn, I'm going to use the Chemist's Insight. And I'm going to discard this. We're going to take the Warkite Marauder here. And now we have a total of 8 mana, which means we can play the Eldest Reborn. And if they have a counter spell, then we can counter it. If not, then we can just say goodbye to the Jin, and we can call it a turn. Still having our counter spell enabled, but that means he doesn't have any counter spells. We need to pay attention. If he plays this card, that means he has no counter spell right there. So I honestly don't really care about that. Like, I don't need to counter that right there. But I would like to counter that. It'd be nice. And I'll keep that counter spell right there. Feels good, man. Now we're going to discard that, and with Nickel Bullets, we're going to discard his other card, and that should pretty much win us the game. Good old Grixis control, man. I love it. I love this shit. Like, this never, like, this archetype never gets old for me. Jesus, holy mother of black, man. Nice. We could kill that, but we're not even gonna respect this thing. We're gonna enable our counter spell. Like, that's the most important thing, and that is an easy win. Not bad. And I'm going to be right back because I'm going to reboot my computer. Not reboot my computer, but reboot MTG Arena. Because I cannot deal with that lag. It actually triggers me. Alright, be right back. I mean, whenever this happens with the client, it gets resolved by rebooting it. Lex Eterna shall be our next foe. And I need that captive audience win, though. There it is. I'm going to keep this hand. It has a bit of a late game curve in it, but we have a Search for Ascanta and a Chemist's Insight, and I see a Mountain. So that already spooks me, because if we're facing Mono Red, this is not the quickest hand. So hopefully we can draw into our Cries of the Carnarium, etc. Okay, so this is not the... I know what this variant of Mono Red is. Like, it's the graveyard focused one with Rekindling Phoenix, so... We have to be wary of that, but at least it's a bit slower initially. Oh boy. Oh boy, here we go. I believe I would like that, yeah. I'm gonna go for the Thought Erasure. Face. Risk factor. I guess I'll just take the Skewer the Critics to prevent damage. And we'll keep that right there. Because we need that land. We need to make sure that we draw into that land. And we'll take the hit. Because we have to. Oh god. That is rough. That is real rough. Not being able to answer this is a problem. So now what we need to do, draw into a red land, right? Because we have Banefire. We need to send this to the graveyard. We need to draw a Cry of the Carnarium or something to deal with this right now. It's the only way. Fuck. There it is. A bit. Oh man, one draw too late. God damn it. Please be a land. Please be a land. Oh, thank God. Okay. Okay, we're still in this. We're kind of almost dead, but we got him top decking at the very least. So hopefully he can chill, he can relax, and give me some breathing room here. Oh no. Oh no, please. Please have mercy. Oh god. How's my graveyard looking like? I need to curve out, but I need to keep this. We're vulnerable. Yikes. It's safe to assume we're quite dead. We've taken too much damage. And he's got us. Oh well. I cry every time. I mean, I saw Captive Audience in my hand, and it was a good hand if we didn't face like such an aggressive deck, so... What are you gonna do, right? Like, that's one of the things, maybe Vraska's Contempt could be a good addition to this deck. For these sorts of matchups. Probably should be running it, honestly. Alright, Kraken Summoner is our next opponent, and this hand looks pretty decent. Again, we do have Cry of the Carnarium. It's a better hand, obviously. We got aggroed. Okay, so that could either be Turbo Fog or a Selenia token deck. Which means we have tools for both. We're a discard deck, so if it is a Stormy deck, we do have the Cry of the Carnarium here. But again, I'm open to adding in Vraska's Contempt, just to like heal up a little bit. Alright, so let's drop the Surfer Falls. And let's go for the Thought Erasure. Let's see what our opponent is about. Let's see his secrets. Okay, so he is somewhat of a Sorby deck here. He has double Conclave Tribunal. His Tribunalia is not something that we're super concerned with. Neither is the Tendershoot Dryad, but I mean, we still just deny this, right? Like, we slow him down significantly here. And why not keep that fungal infection as well? We're not worried about the Tendershoot Dryad. We had Cryo the Carnarium, but we may as well just slow him down. And I guess our opponent did not like that. He did not like us taking away his History of Benalia. Thought Erasure there, just being degenerate as always, and I just absolutely love that card. I saw somebody comment on my video saying people who enjoy Thought Erasure and Disinformation Campaign are just straight up douchebags, and I mean, is it really, like, what's so bad about it? Like, compared to like Mono Red Aggro, like why is this, like, this is so fun for me. We're gonna keep this in. It's a low on lands, but we're gonna draw into one anyways. And I love having Search for Scantha and Thought Erasure, but again, Mono Red is not really the matchup for this to shine. We do have our source for red mana though, which means we can potentially curve out into Nicol Bolas. I'm not sure if I should Search for Scantha here, because I want to get my Thought Erasures going, but because I'm going second, I'm okay. So it's not all right. It's not Mono Red. That's so great to see. I want to try to go for Thought Erasure first, because if he has counter spells, I don't want him to counter my Search for Scantha, because if this is a control matchup, Search for Scantha is really important, actually. Oh. Well, shit. Wasn't expecting that. I mean, he's got quite a bit to pick from here, but he's going to take out the Search for Scantha. Fuck. Wasn't expecting that. Even though that's a pretty standard play in this matchup. I'm going to take out the Ionize, yeah. And I'll keep the Sinister Sabotage here. It's important to keep the counter spell. I'm going to take out the Chemist's Insight, because that way I hinder his card draw. And now I can curve out into Nicol Bolas here. Getting a discard out of him. He could fight with fire here. There it is. As we draw into a Field of Ruin, or I call that a turn, we have our counter spells enabled here. And we keep drawing into more lands, which is good. We gotta be patient. We're playing a Control Mirror here. He does not run into a land there. And there's another Nicol Bolas. Play Nicol Bolas here. Let this card Revitalize, and we're gonna call that a turn. He's Jeskai, but he's missing the yeah, we're not gonna let that happen. No way, Jose. We're one land away, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from being able to. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Because now converting Nicol Bolas is like the key thing right here. Like being able to get the Planeswalker is like super important, and we are going to counter that. And we got him, boys. Bit of a premature. I mean, the game was still far from over, right? But we were gonna try to surveil for a land there and proc him, and I guess that was enough to make our opponent quit. Still no captive audience though, so we gotta keep going, because we need that highlight. We need to win with Ermahgerd, so gotta keep at it. But I always enjoy playing Grixis Control. Like I said, it's one of my favorite decks. It's actually the one that I bought most of the cards for, like paper magic for, because I love Nickel Bullets, I love Thought Erasure, I love everything about Grixis. Esper Control is also like very fun, but it feels nice to not play Teferi, right? Like I feel a bit less of a degenerate by doing that, I guess. I'm gonna keep this hand. Good curve. Counterspell, Thought Erasure, Chemist's Insight. Solid stuff right there. So we're gonna lead off with an island here. And then we're going to try to follow it up with the Thought Erasure. Citizen Sabotage against an aggressive deck obviously loses a lot of value when we're going second because we're one step behind our opponent. So, but it's not that bad. All right, that means he's going to play. Okay. Let's take a look at what his hand is about, and let's just deny whatever he wants to do here. March of the Multitudes, Legion's Landing, and Conclave Tribunal. I mean, March of the Multitudes is something that we can potentially answer. Conclave Tribunal is fine. Obviously, we want to search for Cry of the Carnarium. Legion's Landing is a little bit iffy. Next turn, he can proc how many of these? Quite a bit, right? But Legion's Landing can give him like infinite value, so we don't want that actually. We're going to take out Legion's Landing, and we're going to dump that to the graveyard because we have enough lands here. Alright. We're going to play Surfer Falls, and we're going to have our counterspell enabled here. Yeah, but taking out Legion's Landing is important, because that can give him endless value. So that could be the most threatening thing for us. There's Search for Azcanta, but we cannot go for it just yet, because we want to have our counterspell enabled. It's important to have our counterspell enabled right now, so we have to wait for Search for Azcanta. We're fine with this. Now wait for him to attack. And then we're gonna go for Chemist's Insight. There's the Captive Audience. Yeah, he can't exile it with Conclave Tribunal. That's fantastic. Now we can play Search for Azcanta. We're still taking quite a bit of pressure here. Like, we haven't been able to find our Cry of the Carnarium, but the cool thing is that we don't have to worry about this Hunted Witness when we go for it. That's fine. We'll allow that to happen. We're just 2 mana away from being able to play Captive Audience here. But like I said, we gotta stay alive. I really want to search for that Cry of the Carnarium. We do have 2 copies of it, 4 copies of it, but we just can't seem to find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so even if we find it here, it doesn't really matter ultimately. Resources. We're gonna drop a Steam Vent here. Really hope I can search for it here. I guess we can counterspell that, right? Okay, send that to the graveyard. I mean, negate could be good, but we want to enable our search for Azcanta. And I guess this is the right moment to play Captive Audience. Like, we're not super threatened by lethal. Even if he has, like, a plus. I mean, there's certain things that could kill us, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the Captive Audience, baby. Oh, wow. I mean, all we need is Banefire then and we win. Next turn, he either loses his hand. Okay, here we go, boys. Like, we're close to dying though. Like, we're quite vulnerable here. But the clock is ticking for him. I have so many lands though. I have 4 like that now that I have a Scantha, I should be able to find a Cry of the Carnarium. Like the odds are definitely really high up there for me. He's really thinking here. Maybe about going for the March of the Multitudes. We gotta put the clock on him because he's putting the clock on us. And okay, so if we Cry the Carnarium, so if we find Banefire, yeah, we actually have exact lethal with Banefire. So either Cry the Carnarium or Banefire, or maybe even Sap, Fungal Infection. Like we have so many cards in our deck here that can just at least buy us one more turn. And this, like I said, puts him on the clock, because next turn he either discards his hand or gives me a shitload of soldiers that defend me anyways. He's really debating here. He's running down the clock. Okay, he's going face. We dropped down to 5. That's not good. Okay. I guess we need to keep that. I mean, we're not dead on this board, so we can just counterspell him. Yeah, we have to counterspell him here. If he has like an instant deck, no, he needs one more mana for like the 6 mana play here. So he either discards his hand and tries to top deck lethal somehow, which could still happen. But we living. He discards his hand. Wait. Could he have not played Pride of the Conquerors there? He doesn't have lethal, it seems. We barely live it. We barely live it, boys. All right, find me something good this time. God damn it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take Cry of the Carnarium here. Thank God. Get rid of all that nonsense. And now give me them soldiers. Nice. Fuck yeah. The one time we... Oh, come on. Let me have it. Let me have it. Come on, man. Party pooper. Nice. Oh, beautiful. 20 minutes. I think that's an excellent time to end the video right here. We've had quite a good run today. I think we only lost 1 game. Not sure. I have to look back. But yeah, pretty sure we only lost 1 game. And we ended up, the final match with our captive audience win. That's what I wanted, and I got it the first time I played the card too. No match against Turbo Fog to showcase it off there, but you can't ask for everything, right? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more daily MTG content, and I will see you guys tomorrow. This whole day.